Right now, you can make summer disappear with one small button. You lift a remote, you hear a soft beep. Somewhere inside the wall, a machine wakes up, and the air around your body begins to change. The room cools, the sweat dries, the heat outside becomes something distant, sealed behind glass. You barely think about it. A cool bedroom, a cold office, a car with vents blowing on your face. For many people, heat is no longer a condition of life. It is a setting, something adjusted, lowered, controlled. But for most of human history, heat could not be switched off. There was no air conditioning, no refrigerator full of cold drinks, no car to carry you across burning ground, no sealed apartment, no electric fan moving air across your skin, no weather app warning you exactly when the danger would peak. There was only sun, stone, dust, dry grass, reflected light, a body making heat with every step, and a world that sometimes refused to let that heat escape. For ancient humans, heat was not just discomfort. It could decide when you moved, when you rested, where you slept, how far you hunted, how much water you carried in memory, and how clearly your mind could think. Heat entered the muscles. It thickened the breath. It turned thirst into fear. It made mistakes expensive. So what did ancient humans do before air conditioning? The answer is not that they simply endured it, and it is not that they were magically tougher than you. Ancient humans survived heat by using something modern life often hides from us, the body itself as technology. Their cooling system was not mounted on a wall. It was skin, sweat, blood flow, shade, timing, restraint, memory, movement, and the wisdom to organize life around the limits of heat. Most people imagine ancient humans standing helpless under a brutal sun, forced to suffer because they had no better option. The modern mind sees the past as a world of missing inventions. No thermostat, no ice machine, no climate control. So the story seems simple. They were uncomfortable, and we escaped. But that picture is too small. Archaeology and human physiology point towards something stranger. Our ancestors did not live outside heat as visitors. They lived inside it. They learned its moods. Their bodies responded to it. Their days bent around it. And in some environments, heat was not only an enemy, it became part of the human way of moving through the world. Start with the most ordinary thing your body does in the heat: sweat. It looks simple. It feels messy. In modern life, sweat is often treated like a failure of control, something to hide, wipe away, deodorize, or avoid. But biologically, sweating is one of the most important survival tools humans possess. The human body has a remarkable capacity for eccrine sweating, releasing fluid across much of the skin so that evaporation can pull heat away from the body. That detail matters. Many animals must pant, seek water, slow down, or stop when heat builds inside them. Humans are not invincible, but our nearly hairless skin and widespread sweating allow heat to escape while we are moving. Blood shifts toward the skin. Sweat appears. Air and evaporation do quiet work. The body turns water into cooling. But this gift has a price. Every drop of sweat is borrowed from the body's internal reserves. Cooling costs water. If water is not replaced, the same system that protects you begins to expose you. Blood volume can fall. The heart works harder. Fatigue grows. Judgment weakens. The ancient body did not just need to sweat. It needed to know when sweating was still saving it, and when sweating was becoming a warning. Imagine a small group moving through open land in the late dry season. The sun is high. The ground throws heat upward. Their bodies are shining with sweat, but no one is wasting movement. No one is sprinting for drama. They read the air, the angle of light, the distance to shade, the direction of tracks, the memory of water, somewhere beyond the next rise. The body cools itself. The mind calculates the cost. That is the first ancient answer to heat. Not toughness, but regulation. Ancient humans survived by listening to a cooling system built into flesh, and by respecting that the same system could fail if pushed past its limits. The second answer is more dangerous and more debated. Some researchers have argued that endurance running and long-distance movement may have played a role in the evolution of the genus Homo. The idea is not that every ancient human was always running across the savanna, or that persistence hunting explains everything about human evolution. It does not. The evidence is debated, and human survival was always more varied than a single theory. But the hypothesis reveals something important about heat. Humans are not the fastest animals. On a short sprint, we are unimpressive. A horse, an antelope, a dog, a big cat. Many animals can outrun us easily. But under certain hot conditions, over long distances, humans may have had an unusual advantage. The ability to keep moving while dumping heat through sweat, especially when pursuing animals that cool less efficiently while running. Persistence hunting, observed among some modern hunter-gatherers, involves following an animal for hours, often in heat, until it becomes exhausted.
This is not a simple chase.
It is tracking, patience, pacing, terrain knowledge, and a precise reading of both animal and human limits. Picture it carefully.
A hunter does not run like a movie hero.
He follows. He slows. He studies a hoof mark, broken in dust, a turn in the grass, a flash of movement far ahead. The animal gains distance, then must rest. The human arrives again. The sun is not background.
The sun is part of the strategy.
But heat cuts both ways. Models of persistence hunting and dehydration suggest that the human hunter also faces strict limits. Without drinking, prolonged pursuit can become dangerous within hours, depending on climate, body size, pace, and conditions. This means the ancient heat solution was never just keep going. It was knowing how far going could be taken. The real skill was not blind endurance. It was heat risk calculation. When to move, when to slow, when to abandon the hunt, where water might be, how much thirst could be tolerated before strength became danger, how to read the behavior of an overheated animal without becoming one yourself. This is where ancient intelligence becomes physical. It is not intelligence sitting at a desk, separated from the body. It is intelligence in the feet, lungs, skin, and eyes. It is a mind that understands distance because the legs are paying for every meter. It is memory sharpened by thirst. It is decision-making under a sun that does not forgive fantasy. The third answer is quieter, but maybe the most intimate. The body can learn heat. Modern heat science shows that repeated exposure to hot environments can produce physiological adaptations. Heat acclimation can improve sweating responses, support skin blood flow, reduce cardiovascular strain during the same work, and help the body tolerate hot conditions more effectively.
This does not make heat harmless.
Heat can still injure and kill, but the body is not passive. Given repeated exposure, it adjusts. Ancient humans did not have laboratories to measure core temperature or sweat rate, but they had lives that repeatedly exposed them to heat. They had seasons, migrations, hunts, gathering routes, shelters that changed with wind and sun. They had elders who knew which part of the day punished movement, which shade held longest, which dry creek bed still hinted at water, which clouds meant relief, which stillness in the air meant danger. Acclimation was not a fitness trend. It was a relationship. A young person growing into a hot landscape would not just learn facts about heat. Their body would be trained by it. Their behavior would be shaped by it. Their group would teach them when to rest, how to pace, how not to waste water, how to sleep when nights stayed warm, how to choose shade before desperation arrived. This is something air conditioning can make almost invisible. When you live in artificial coolness, heat becomes an interruption. You go from a cooled bedroom to a cooled car to a cooled workplace. Your body still has ancient heat systems, but many days they barely have to speak. Then when real heat finds you, a power outage, a long walk, a broken car, a summer afternoon without shade. The body may feel betrayed by the very world it evolved to read, but the body is not betraying you. It is asking for conditions it rarely receives. Human thermoregulation is not one switch. It is a negotiation. Your brain monitors temperature. Blood vessels in the skin widen to release heat. Sweat glands respond. The heart adjusts because blood is being asked to serve two masters at once. Carry oxygen to working muscles and carry heat toward the surface. As dehydration rises, this negotiation becomes harder. Cooling, movement, and circulation begin to compete. That is why heat changes more than comfort. It changes mood, patience, attention, risk. A hot body is not just a body at a higher temperature. It is a body spending resources to stay safe. Ancient humans did not need modern vocabulary to understand this. They could feel it in the heaviness of limbs, the dulling of thought, the danger of pushing one ridge too far. And because heat was shared, survival was social. One person's mistake could cost the group. A lost water source, a reckless pace, a hunt continued too long, a child left without shade. Heat punished isolation. So ancient heat intelligence had to live in memory and cooperation. It was carried in roots, warnings, habits, gestures, stories, and the quiet authority of people who had survived many summers.
Modern air conditioning solved something real. It protects sleep. It reduces suffering.
It can save lives during dangerous heat waves. It makes hospitals safer, workplaces possible, cities more livable, and old age less vulnerable.
There is no wisdom in pretending that heat was romantic, or that ancient people were better because they suffered more. Heat killed then.
Heat kills now, but comfort can also conceal the old conversation between body and world. Before air conditioning, humans did not defeat heat by making it vanish. They negotiated with it. They moved earlier or later. They searched for shade. They reduced effort. They remembered water. They watched animals. They trusted sweat, but feared thirst. They learned that survival was not domination. It was timing. And this is the deeper twist. Ancient humans did not survive heat because they were simply tougher than you. They survived because their lives trained them to notice heat before it became an emergency. Their bodies were not separate from the environment.
Their habits were not separate from physiology.
Their intelligence was not locked in the skull. It was distributed through skin, muscle, memory, landscape, and group knowledge. The technology was not outside them. The technology was the body in relationship with the world. That is what modern life often reverses. We build machines that free us from the environment. And in many ways, this is a triumph. But the more perfectly the machine works, the easier it becomes to forget what it replaced. Not just discomfort, not just sweat, but a whole way of sensing danger, reading limits, and adjusting behavior before the body breaks. You can see this in the strange embarrassment people feel about sweating. You can see it in the way heat now feels like an invasion, not a season. You can see it in offices cold enough for jackets while the street outside burns. You can see it in the modern dream of perfect indoor weather, a life where the body never has to negotiate with air, sun, wind, or thirst. But the ancient body is still there, under the clean shirt, under the deodorant, under the cooled ceiling, under the quiet machine humming in the wall. It still belongs to heat. It still knows sweat. It still shifts blood toward the skin. It still asks for water. It still slows when danger rises. It still carries the memory of a world where shade mattered, where noon could be an enemy, where movement had to be earned. Go back to the air conditioner remote. Hold it in your hand for a moment. It is a small miracle. A piece of modern power so ordinary that you can forget it is power at all. With one press, you can change the air around your body. You can sleep through summer. You can work through afternoon heat. You can live in places where the old sun would have ruled every decision. But the machine did not erase the ancient problem. It only covered it. The room is cool now, sealed, silent, comfortable. And outside, the heat is still there, pressing against the glass, waiting in the pavement, rising from the earth the way it always has. Your ancestors did not have a button. They had a body that listened. And somewhere beneath all this cold air, so do you.